Going on? Anybody let me know if you guys can hear me okay? Want to make sure that you guys can hear me before I start, so give it a second. There's like a little bit of lag. Nice. Okay. Well, this is just looking at Ethereum real quick. So my previous video that I did, and we were talking about it in Discord earlier, but you can see right here we reclaimed the range value area high, and you see we got the move to new all-time highs on Ethereum, so that's pretty cool. But we are coming up to a bit of resistance here. I mean, we still have this channel that we've been in, and I mean, again, like I've seen a lot of people looking at it. A lot of people have been looking at it as a ascending triangle, which I don't disagree with, but um, you know, in this case, we'll just kind of have to wait and see how it reacts here at the top of this channel. Then you have your, let's see, let me pull my pivots up real quick. Got your R3 yearly pivot sitting here about 1641. So those are two kind of initial areas that I would look at. And then you have your one-to-one fib extension here at 1700. So that's just some areas to kind of watch going forward. But, you know, like I kind of mentioned earlier and we were talking about in Discord, I really want to see Ethereum break out of this channel and, like, you know, really want to see it make a push here and see if it's for real or not. Because for now, a lot of people have been, you know, if you've been trading the breakouts, the all-time high breakouts, you know, unless you're scalping or you're watching your trades real carefully, I'd argue that those people haven't really done very well. And you can see, like, we've continually we continue to get rotations here, and this could be, you know, we can make another all-time high and we could come back down to the middle of the channel or something, and like we can continue to fake people out. But nonetheless, Ethereum looks great. This is the kind of price action you want to see. It's very healthy. So, you know, we haven't got the breakout to 2000 or anything insane yet, but again, this looks pretty good. So I'm pretty happy overall with it. So that's I know we were talking about Ethereum here in Discord, so I just wanted to go over it real briefly before I go over to Bitcoin. But if you go to the Bitcoin chart here, I spoiled it with what I have here, but basically we're sitting right in between. Let me fix this. We're just sitting right in between two really important regions. I mean, for, you know, for your support locally, you have your weekly down here. This is a new weekly, by the way. So it's sitting at 32,290. You have a naked point of control here at 31.8. You have your big range, your range value area low here. This is a really important level. And then you also have a daily down here. So like this green box is kind of just a support zone that you know, I think it's pretty important. If we do come down to test this area right now, it really doesn't look like it. It looks pretty good. We put on. Yeah, 4 hour just looks sideways. I mean, this is kind of what sideways price action looks. Nothing great. You went down to a lower time frame. Yeah, your hourly looks okay. But I mean, so yeah, on lower time frames, I'd say Bitcoin we look pretty good, and I don't see much of a reason for us not to continue a bit higher here as long as everything continues to look okay. Let's see. You are coming up. This is one area that I always watch. It's your golden pocket. Really good support resistance level. You can see that's coming up here at about 36.2, something like that. Was that 36,235? So this is an area to watch for a reaction. Lately, you know, I've mentioned this in Discord. Lately, you're having deeper retracements. So like a lot of times with Bitcoin, for the last couple months or so, you're getting retracements more to your 786 and your 886 levels. So, I mean, this is an area that I would watch for initially. I would expect some kind of reaction around here, but this type of price action looks okay. Like it's nothing worrisome. But this area up here is massive resistance in my opinion. So this weekly was a huge level. You had your Elon Musk candle here that kind of took you all the way up and ran right into the weekly here, sold off really heavily. So I mean, this area is huge. You have this is your range value area high sitting here at 37,310. Your naked point of control at 37,000 even. And then you also have the top of this channel. You zoom out a little bit, but here you kind of have a descending channel. So like all of this, like this area in general right here is pretty big time resistance. If you're able to reclaim this though, like if you get price, if price is able to get through this resistance, reclaim this weekly up here, then I think you're likely headed. Let me go to a daily here, take a look. We can spot something. So you have a daily here at 39,126. You also have a daily level here at 40,623. I'd say that's probably the important level. So I think if we're able to reclaim 38, this weekly level here at 38,221, if we're able to get a close above that and hold, I think your next level that we'll probably be looking at is this mid 40K level. But to be honest with you, I think if we come back up to mid 40K, I would likely be thinking all-time highs if that were to happen, which is that's kind of why I named the stream what I did, because your next, I don't remember if it was my yearly, yeah, here it's your yearly pivot. So your R2 yearly pivot's at 46,000. So when I say is Bitcoin going to 26K or 46K, that's where I got the 46K from, because this would be kind of like your next initial resistance if we were to break out. But realistically, if we take out this all-time high, I highly doubt that we stop here at 46K. I mean, really, like you're probably targeting 60, 70K at that point. So that's kind of what I would be envisioning if we do end up breaking out of here. So that's if we clear this resistance here. And again, this is a massive area to watch out for. So I mean, if we do get up here to 36, 37,000, am I going to be longing? Absolutely not. But that's just me. It's not financial advice, but you guys can do what you want. But I really would want to see price reclaim this level and hold before I'd said, okay, like, there's a pretty good chance of us breaking out. Now to the downside. So again, I already talked about this little support region here. This is a pretty important support region. If this was to fail, let's say price came down, maybe we come up and we retest 37,000 first and we get rejected. Who knows? That's kind of like something that I would be really careful of. But if we do end up rejecting here and coming back down, if we lose this support region, this is kind of what the entire purpose of this video is for, because I wanted to show kind of an area where I would be really interested in picking up a position, a swing position, that is. Just give me a second. I'm going to clear this up a little bit. Just give me just a second. Give me 1 second. Really should have separated these. Okay, I just want to find the ones that I actually want. There's one, there's the other. Okay. Perfect. So on a weekly time frame, just wanted to show you kind of what Ichimoku looks like right now. So you have your Tenkan and your Kijun here. You can see this kind of this zone that I highlighted right here, this little green box. And for those of you in Discord, you know how I like my green boxes and how they typically, I'd say they typically do pretty well. But if we were to lose that support region that I talked about earlier, realistically, like I think there's a decent chance that we could come all the way down to this green box, which also happens to be the bottom of this channel. So you have this descending channel here. And oh my, I don't know what's going on in my house over here. I'm gonna pull up my pivots. Going on to my monthly. So here, I mean, just to start, so these are monthly pivots. So we got new monthly pivots once February started. And you can see that the monthly pivot is actually 34,325, which we've already hit that. But your support one, your S1 pivot down here is, you're like, look where it is, okay? So it's around 26,572, something like that. So that is one of the confluences for this region that I would expect to bounce if price happens to come down. I would expect some kind of reaction around there, because that's a pretty major level. You also have the golden pocket, which sits perfectly. The S1 pivot actually sits right in the middle of it, but your golden pocket sits here about just below 27,000. That pull comes from your impulse here. So this is better viewed on a daily, actually. But anyway, so real quick, while I'm still on the weekly, you have your Tenkan. That's right here in this support zone. So you would expect a bounce off of here. Now your Kijun, and this would be a pretty aggressive dump down if we ended up having the Kijun tested. I would be really surprised actually if we came down that far, but that's sitting right now at 26. I'm sorry, just below 23,000. And it will be rising over time, but it's likely not going to be, it's probably going to take a little bit. So if you went back, yeah, I mean, this is going to, like, this could take, unless we make new all-time highs, like this could take a while. But just note, weekly Tenkan here, that's a big level. You have your golden pocket. So if I go down to, so I'm just going to take this off for a second. Actually, I'll leave it on. So you can see here, one of, and this I kind of like this confluence with the daily. So if you look at your cloud, your daily cloud here, and it's kind of hard to tell because I have all of these boxes here, but there's a flat region right here. And a lot of times when you have Ichimoku cloud and the cloud is flat like this, it's kind of a magnet for price. And the flat part of the Kumo is actually sitting right here inside of this golden pocket. So if we happen, again, right, if we lose that support that was here that I talked about earlier, we start kind of closing inside of the cloud, I would look for a potential bounce if we do come back and test the bottom of this cloud. So that's another confluence that we have for this region. And you also have two daily levels. Dailies aren't like a massive deal, but there's still areas where you would likely see some sort of reaction. And you have two daily levels that are sitting right here. So it's also confluence for this region. So you can see already, like, there's a lot of reasons why you would expect to see a bounce here. And the part that I like about this, aside from the technical analysis piece, is like, I don't hear a lot of people talking about this region at all. Like, I think if we were to dump down to, 30K region, it looked like we could break it. The last time that we were there, I saw a ton of calls for either 20K or 24K. Like, everybody's looking for like the real deep drop. And a lot of times when you have a lot of people looking at the same area, you're going to do one of two things. Either you're going to get front run, which in this case, it would be like a perfect front run, because I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this particular region, or which wouldn't be a very good thing in my opinion, but you get, it gets overextended, and people that are trying to get in at 23, 24K thinking like that's going to be the absolute perfect bottom, price could blow right through that. And me personally, I don't really see that as a likely outcome considering the strength of this overall run and who's in it right now. But if something like that were to pop up on the charts and kind of give us hints that like it could be possible, it's something that we'd have to pay attention to. That's for sure. So that's kind of a lot of the reasons that I have for looking in this area. If we did happen to take a little bit of a dip here, and there's also the speed fan. I can show you this. Where is it? There's your speed fan. So the speed fan is taken, by the way, from your absolute low here in March, all the way up to our current all-time high. You can see that it's been pretty well respected for the most part. I mean, your 382 speed fan picked up the bottom pretty nicely, actually. So you're getting a bit of support off of this region. If we were to come down and we lost the 382, your 0.5 is kind of coming somewhere in this region. I don't know if I would call it like a perfect level of confluence, but it's definitely something that I would pay attention to. Like if we did test like maybe the bottom of this green box or something, that's a bit of support here that I would expect to hold up as well. And then you have, so besides that, I would turn the speed fan off. And you also have this, so your EMAs. So right, I mean, you can see it's beautiful. Like the 55 EMAs on the daily has held up really nicely as support so far. And you can see the 89 exponential is actually coming in right here in the middle of our zone that I'm paying attention to. And if you go back, actually, and by the way, 89, I know it's kind of a weird number, but it's actually a fib number. So that's why I use it. But it is a Fibonacci number, in case you were wondering. But here's your orange lines, your 89. And you can see here, I mean, I think even back here, you can see that we were basing off of it. Got a nice pop up, came back down, lost the 89 exponential. It was resistance, regained it, lost it, resistance, and then we started to base off of it again before before price really took off. And we haven't come back down to retest it since. So this isn't like a major level of confluence for me, but it is just another thing that's pointing right now. It's at 26,863. So this is just another level of confluence that tells me that if price were to revisit this region, I would expect a reaction off of that. And I don't think a lot of people are looking in this area again, like I said. So this is just something, this is kind of what I wanted to show you guys. And this is mostly like for everybody who's in Discord. Like I've been talking about the 26, 27K region, I think for like a week or two now. And I just wanted to take a minute to explain to you guys why I thought this region was really important, because it's kind of hard to do so in Discord. You can post your charts and whatnot, but unless you're typing 2-3 pages of text, that gets really boring to read after a while. I think this is a little bit easier explanation of that. So anybody have any questions or anything like that? Let me take a minute, just make sure nobody has any questions. I think there's like a 20 or 30-second delay or something from what I say to when you guys actually see it. So I'll just give it just a little bit. So if there's no questions on Bitcoin, which I mean, you guys can always ask questions in Discord, by the way, obviously. But if there's no questions on Bitcoin, I can look at a few altcoins if anybody has anything of interest. So I know somebody said Stellar, but I don't know if you want me to look at it. But I've got questions, but I won't ask them here since Well, I mean, you can ask them or ask them in Discord. I know you're in Discord, so feel free to pop over there. And let me actually put a link here. I think there's a link in the description, but there's a link to our Discord. So if anybody's not in it, you know, it's a free Discord, really cool group of people. You guys come over and hang out with us. You know, if you look at some of the conversations we've been having, they're pretty funny. They usually are, but there's a lot of really good information in there too. We have a lot of people that post some, you know, some interesting stuff. We have our Miss in there. So she's the altcoin queen, and she does some awesome stuff, posting a lot of really cool projects in there and stuff for people to look at. But if we don't have any questions on Bitcoin, I mean, I can come back to Bitcoin if you want, but I kind of wanted to take a look at this. So this is something that Serum, I had actually mentioned this in my Ethereum video last night, and that we, you know, mentioned it in Discord. And this, you know, I think I bought Serum at 210. I don't know when I posted it, but it looked really good. I think it was the daily actually. Yeah, it was the daily. So you see you got this really nice breakout. This is really strong price action right here. So this looks really good. And I was mentioning in the previous video that, you know, I would expect to see some resistance here at the daily around 358. But with it being such a new chart, and you can see kind of like a lot of the projects have been popping off big time, you know, you know, when they get to kind of this point, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see a lot of continuation from here. But, you know, obviously I have to go based on what I see at the chart right now. So initially, I look at 358, likely going to see a reaction there, I would guess. This is kind of the only real meaningful level of resistance that's on this chart at the moment. Then you have your R1, this is a monthly, no, yearly. So this is R1 yearly pivot, but this is, again, this is like such a new listing that you don't have a lot of price action. So these pivots, I would probably expect some kind of reaction. And your first one's right around here, about $4. So that's kind of the initial targets that I would look at. If you were to extend this a little higher, just to kind of give you an idea of like what could be possible, your R2 is sitting here at $7. R3 is at almost $9. I mean, your R5. So this is like from a year standpoint, like kind of what like a really insane move would be for this. But considering kind of the market environment that we're in, and considering, you know, I mean, everything else that's going on right now, it wouldn't surprise me to see some of these projects like really push levels that you think you might not be hitting. Not saying this one's going to do it, but I'm just kind of pointing it out there. But your R5's at 1275. I mean, that'd be pretty nice. But this looks really good. Going on to maybe a 4-hour. Wow, yeah, that's really strong. So you can see, like, if you're following Ichimoku, even just from here, so you got your bullish TK cross here. That's your entry signal. It's above cloud. That's really good. You can see that price came back down and tested the Kijun right here. This is like a buy all day long. This is a buy all day long right here. So if you're into Ichimoku, that is. But you can see you got a really nice reaction right now. Like, price is really far away from where Tenkan and Kijun is. So I mean, that happens when you're in an extremely strong trend like this. It's a really powerful move, but it's also something to keep in mind. You know, like if you get a retracement, you know, back down wherever Kijun is or Tenkan is, like those are usually like decent areas to compound your long. Like if you're long from here, let's say, and you wanted to add to your position, would I do it right here? Me personally, unlikely, because I mean this is an incredibly strong move, but I'm more like kind of trader that I am. I'm more to like I want to see where am I wrong, right? And like right now, like if you're using Ichimoku, for instance, like your stop loss would be, I mean, this is kind of hard to do on this kind of a chart, to be honest, but like it would be probably below the Kijun here, or I think do I have my fractals up here? I'm curious. So fractals are pretty cool to use for Ichimoku. Yeah, look, you don't even have You don't even have a fractal until all the way down here. So if you're using fractals as your stop losses, your stop loss would be below here at $1.77. So that's I want to say that's kind of not very helpful right now, but this is a really nice trend though. And anybody who's long, congratulations. Like this is looking pretty good. So good work there. So that's Serum. Is there anything that anybody wants to look at in particular? Let me go over to Discord. Okay. I'm gonna put this over here in Discord real quick. Does anybody have any alts that they want to look at? Otherwise, I can end the stream here. But I mostly just wanted to share my perspective on Bitcoin and kind of where I think we are. And kind of while I'm waiting for questions, I'll just do a real quick Bitcoin recap. So again, if I put my little rectangles back up here. So yeah, just as a real quick Bitcoin recap, we're sitting right in the middle between resistance and support. So as far as like a risk reward entering a position right here, me personally, like this isn't like an optimal place where I would want to be entering a long or a short if I wasn't in a position. I would be more, I'm more interested in a position around here or down here. And it's really simple. Like you want to like taking positions right in the middle here is like your risk reward is just really it's not the best. Um, like I prefer to wait for a better setup versus just take a setup just because I feel like I need to be in a trade or whatnot. See, no questions. Won't let me post on YouTube. ETH all okay, ETH all time. Yeah, that's kind of a little hard, to be honest. I mean, we can take a peek at it. But anyway, just to wrap it up on Bitcoin real quick. We're sitting in between two really important regions. If we reclaim the weekly up here, the next step, like the next level that I would look at is 40K. So it's 40,000, 40,000 or 40,500, something like that. The reaction there is going to be pretty important, but honestly, if we push all the way up to mid 40K, I think we're very likely going to see new all-time highs. Let's just say that. If we come back down to this zone, down to this new weekly here, 32K or so, the reaction there is going to be pretty important. This area, this green box, I want to see this area hold. If it's lost though, I will absolutely be on the lookout for, and this is all something that I want to am I going to preset bids here? I won't say if I am or not, but I would preferably like to see this happen in real time. That way I can be in front of the computer, I can check volume, I can look, I can look at some other important pieces of data and make a decision like is this where I want to enter. But that's kind of like the two levels that I'm looking at right now. So for me, like I'm spot long right now. So if price goes up and I'm not in a leveraged position, that's totally fine. I'm not sweating it. But this, I would not be interested in a new leverage trade or a new swing entry for me until we kind of hit one of these two regions. Then we'll go from there. So I'll do Ethereum. We'll take a look at this really quickly to see if there's anything that stands out. I don't think I did this for Discord yet. Yeah, I don't think I've done this. Have I? Oh man. I'm telling you, Discord, if you're not in Discord, you need to get in Discord. It's hilarious. Like, we have a great time there. I've done BNB, I've done Link. So these are like my all-time high analysis, you know, looking long term to see like what the potential targets could be. No, I guess I haven't. So I will touch on this real briefly. Basically, like it's kind of like a good place to start are your pivots. So I get on the yearly pivots. Kind of a good place to start. I'll hide this channel. I mean, and like doing fib extensions are really helpful too. Fib extensions like in confluence with your you know, yearly pivots or something like that could be good. So I don't really see anything here like that I could use offhand. I mean, I'll do this just something like that. That's not very helpful. Did catch the wick there. 618, kind of an important area. I don't think that's going to be super helpful. But anyway, so like you're already above your R2 pivot. You can see like the pivots here are relatively like for yearly pivots, they're pretty well respected to a degree, I'd say. Your R3 pivots come in here 1641-ish. I think I did do a fib pull. Well, I'll leave this one up, but I did do this fib pull, and that's where I got in the video that I posted last night. And your 1-to-1 is at 1700. So 1641 to 1700, I'm gonna mark this off actually. I would expect some kind of reaction around here. I think that's a nice area to possibly look at, maybe a little pullback. Maybe we can get another long entry or something like that. So that's an area that I would watch for. Your R4 pivots coming in here around almost 2100. And then, wow, look at this. That's interesting. So this is your 2-spot extension for this fib pull here, and it lines up right with your R5, which would be like an insane move. But this zone is, so it's about 2,500 bucks. So this year, I mean, it's really hard to say. Like we're in February, very beginning of February. It's hard to say. But your R5 pivot sitting here, 2,500 bucks. I'd say that's probably I would expect some kind of reaction around there, but we'll see. You know, if we get that high, things could get really insane. Especially we have a lot of news coming out soon. You have the futures and you have all of that stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff coming out, and I think it could get really interesting. So that's something we'll kind of have to play day by day, like we do normally in Discord anyway. But that's kind of like the areas. So to answer your question, that's kind of the areas that I would be looking at. I think you're coming up on a really important area right here. Mid 16 to 1700, something like that. And up here, the 2500 region would be, I think you'll probably find some resistance around there if we do end up getting that high. So if anybody does anybody have any other questions? If not, I'm going to wrap it up. No, I don't think anything else. All right, well, it's been great. If you guys have any questions in the future, like if you guys want to see certain charts, post it in the chat. Happy to take a look. But it's mostly wanted to give that kind of the update on Bitcoin and kind of what I thought, you know, and like kind of what I would be interested in depending on what areas that we come to. You know, if we break resistance, I talked about where I thought it could go. If we come down, we either hit support or lose support. Those are the regions that I'd be really interested in taking another swing position. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys have a good day. Catch me over in Discord. There's going to be a link below the video, the video description if you don't have a link to Discord. So feel free to check it out. Hope you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you later.